My husband cheated on me and tried to leave me with nothing. Heartbroken, I was about to jump into the river when the baby in my belly suddenly spoke. Mom, don't do it. I've been reborn. In my past life, my scumbag father kicked us out for his mistress and then won an $11 million lottery. I was even more desperate and about to let go when the voice spoke again. I know the winning lottery numbers. We can take them. Please don't die. More importantly, my scumbag father's hidden money is in the bedroom ceiling. Take it first, then divorce him. My legs stopped shaking and I finally calmed down. When I got home, I borrowed a ladder and started tearing open the ceiling. Since I had run back in tears, the housekeeper didn't dare stop me. I locked the bedroom door, set up the ladder, and took off my shoes. I glanced at my slightly rounded belly. Son, are you sure it's here? Your dad will be back soon. If we tear down the wrong spot, we'll lose our chance. A childish yet cocky voice came from my belly. Mom, trust me. In my past life, that scumbag dad hid his gold bars here. Third panel from the left. Push hard. I took a deep breath and climbed the ladder. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from excitement. Scott froze all my cards to force me into a divorce. He called it letting me calm down, but in truth, he was cutting off my money to make me submit. He wanted me to leave with nothing. Dream on. I shoved the patterned ceiling panel open. Dust fell and blurred my vision, but I didn't wipe my eyes. I had already touched the heavy black cloth bag. It was so heavy that I nearly fell off the ladder while pulling it out. Be careful, Mom. If you fall, we'll both die. Don't jinx it. My hands shook as I opened the bag. Golden light flashed before my eyes. It was filled with gold bars. I had never seen so much gold in my life. I rummaged through it and found stacks of US dollars underneath. How much money is this? About $5 million. That scumbag dad secretly siphoned it from the company behind his partner's backs. It was meant as startup money for him and his mistress to enjoy life overseas. In your past life, you jumped into the river and let them get away. They used this money to go abroad, get credentials, and return as famous entrepreneurs, completely forgetting you. Hearing this, my anger exploded. Scott, you bastard. I built everything with you from nothing, and now that you were rich, you cheated on me, hid money from me, and even tried to drive me to death? I took the gold bars out one by one and packed them into the suitcase I'd prepared earlier. What if Scott finds out when he gets back? I stared at the dark opening, worried. If he found out, I might not even make it out of this house, let alone get a divorce. Mom, are you silly? Just stuff some old books into the box next to it so it looks full, then put the ceiling panels back. They haven't been opened in years. By the time he notices, we'll be long gone. I suddenly understood. I grabbed a few of Scott's showpiece books from the top shelf, stuffed them into the black bag, and put it back in the ceiling. Then I carefully secured the panels. I even wiped away the fingerprints on the edges. Then I sat on the floor, my heart pounding. Even jumping into the river hadn't been this thrilling. Just then, the door opened downstairs. Scott's impatient voice followed. Tara, did that crazy woman come back? I froze. Mom, don't give in. You're the victim now. Act desperate and make him think you've given up. I kicked the suitcase of gold bars deep under the bed, then messed up my hair and sat on the edge. I forced myself to calm down and tears immediately welled up. When Scott pushed the door open, he saw me looking heartbroken. Disgust flashed in his eyes. Still not dead? I thought you had some backbone. He loosened his tie, clearly impatient. Since you're not dead, sign the papers. He tossed a divorce agreement at me. If you leave with nothing, I'll pay for the abortion. After all, no one wants a woman with a child when remarrying. Abort it? Even animals weren't that cruel. How could he say that? Hatred surged in my heart, but I knew now wasn't the time to explode. I slowly lifted my head, my eyes hollow. Following my son's advice, I put on the act of a woman completely broken by grief. Scott, after 7 years of marriage, are you really going to be this cruel? My voice was hoarse and trembling. Scott scoffed and lit a cigarette, ignoring my pregnancy. Yvette, we're adults. Don't make this ugly. Barbara is pregnant with a son. I have to give them proper status. You don't even know what you're carrying. If it's a girl, I'd be at a loss. Bastard! The little devil in my belly cursed. Mom, ignore him. That idiot doesn't know the mistress's baby isn't his. It's the fitness instructor's. I almost laughed out loud. I quickly lowered my head and covered my face, my shoulders shaking. To Scott, it looked like I was sobbing. Fine, I'll sign. I looked up, tears streaking my face but resolve in my eyes. But I have one condition. Scott frowned and looked at me warily. You want money? Let me tell you, the company has no cash right now. I'm deep in debt. I don't want money. I cut in sadly. I just want my clothes and personal things. I want nothing from this house, only to cut all ties with you. Scott was stunned, clearly not expecting me to agree so easily. A flash of joy crossed his eyes before he hit it. Fine, you know what's best for you. Pack your things and leave tonight. We'll go to the city hall first thing tomorrow. He turned and left, as if even looking at me was bad luck. As soon as the door closed, I wiped away my tears and pulled the suitcase out from under the bed. I stuffed the suitcase with old clothes and cheap toiletries, then pushed it, ready to leave at once. Scott was on the sofa video chatting with Barbara, speaking in a tone I hadn't heard in years. When he saw me, he stood and walked over. Wait, open it. Let me check. Don't take anything you shouldn't. My heart leapt into my throat. I even wondered if I should knock him out and run. But when Scott saw the clothes, he only curled his lip in disdain. You're taking this trash? Aren't you going to check again? Don't say I didn't give you a chance later. I gave a pitiful smile. No need. Everything here is filthy. Scott's face darkened. Get out! I pushed my heavy suitcase out of the place I once called home. Once outside the complex, I hailed a taxi and went straight to a 5-star hotel downtown. Mom, great job. That scumbag is probably still dreaming about his money. His face will be priceless when he checks the ceiling. But we need to move fast. After the divorce tomorrow, we'll buy the lottery ticket. The $11 million jackpot is ours. I sat in the back seat watching the scenery fly past the window. The anger I'd held in for so long finally eased. Scott, you thought you dumped a worn-out wife. You had no idea you just sent away a money magnet. That night, in the presidential suite, I ordered a seafood feast I'd never dared to buy before. While eating king crab, my son told me stories from my past life. It turned out that after I jumped into the river in my past life, Scott didn't shed a single tear. He even released a statement claiming I was mentally ill. He used my death to build a loving, devoted image, sending his company's stock price soaring. That mistress, Barbara, spent my compensation money on limited edition handbags. They even scattered my ashes in some desolate place. Hearing this, I crushed the crab leg in my hand. Son, I'll make them pay. Absolutely. Mom, tomorrow at the city hall will be a big show. Barbara will surely protest. You must hold back. Don't hit her. Her fake designer clothes might tear and she could try to extort money from us. I chuckled. This little one's tongue was even sharper than mine. The next morning, at the city hall entrance, Scott beamed with joy, his hair slick and shiny. Beside him, arm in arm, was Barbara. Heavily pregnant, she wore a tight dress as if trying to hide her pregnancy. Seeing me alone, Barbara covered her mouth and laughed. Oh, why do you look so pale? Did you sleep under a bridge last night? Scott patted her bottom and pretended to be concerned. Don't say too much or she might jump into the river again. He then looked at me condescendingly. Did you bring all the paperwork? Hurry up and finish. I have company matters to attend to. I ignored them and walked in. Sign, stamp, and get the certificate. I stayed silent the whole time and cooperated completely. The moment I got the divorce certificate, Scott sighed in relief, as if a huge weight had been lifted. As we walked out, Barbara deliberately kissed Scott in front of me. Honey, we're finally free. Let's celebrate. Scott hugged her and pinched her cheek affectionately. Okay, whatever you say. Then he turned to me, took out a few red bills and tossed them on the ground. Here's for your taxi. Don't say I, Scott, am heartless. The bills fluttered to the ground, mocking me. People around us were pointing and whispering. I bent down and Scott and Barbara smiled smugly. They thought I was picking up the money. Instead, I just tied my shoelaces. Then I stood up, stepped on the bills and crushed them. Scott, keep this money for your medical bills. I see a dark aura around you. A major disaster is coming. Scott's face flushed with anger. Yvette, don't push your luck, Barbara shrieked. Who are you to say that? I smiled coldly, hailed a taxi and sped off. Sitting in the car, my palms were sweaty. Son, what if he finds the stuff on the ceiling is gone? So what if he finds out? We have the divorce certificate and the property agreement. It clearly says personal belongings can't be touched. That gold bar was your personal item. Does he have proof it's his? It's his secret stash and he can't admit it. Would he dare call the police and claim he's transferring assets? I slapped my thigh. That's right. He'd have to swallow this bitter pill. Now, the most important thing was to buy the lottery ticket. Following my son's instructions, I went to a small lottery shop on the city's outskirts. Boss, 5 quick picks, I said. No, Mom, not quick picks. I'll give you the numbers. Remember them. 05121926310814. I quickly corrected myself. Sorry, boss, I'll pick the numbers myself. Holding the thin lottery ticket felt hotter than the bag of gold bars. $11 million. If I won, I'd never worry again. Son, can we really win? It has to. In my past life, the winner was a homeless man who got drunk and lost his ticket. That scumbag father picked it up and claimed the prize. This time, we'll take it first. Just as I got excited, Scott suddenly snatched the lottery ticket from my hand.